A certain lady reached out to me a couple weeks ago about her intention to start investing in real estate, but with a very small capital. Let me read out her message to you guys. And yes, I got her consent before using our conversation for this content. So she said, "Greetings, bro. Saw you on YouTube. I'm just starting life and I've saved 300,000 naira only. Which area will you advise or is safe to buy in Lagos at such price?" After reading that message, I was genuinely impressed because it's inspiring seeing a young person being that intentional about their investment, especially someone with very limited capital. But before I advised her, just as I would with any other person, I felt it was necessary to refer to what I like to call the 3 basic rules of financial freedom. These are rules I learned from Darryl Collins in his book, The Simple Path to Wealth. The 3 rules he stated are that 1. Spend less than you earn. 2. Invest the surplus. And 3. Avoid debt. You see, as unexciting as these rules sound, believe me, they work. And if you are that kind of person whose savings over around 300,000 naira, I think you need to understand that you're probably not financially stable enough to invest in real estate yet. Because if that's all you have saved up, then where is your emergency fund? And you can't possibly invest your emergency fund in a 300k plot of land. That would be a financially reckless move. So if you're in that category, my first question to you would be that, what do you do for a living? Are you a salary earner or do you run a business? If you run a business, what part of your business can that 300,000 naira improve? Can it help you improve efficiency and as a result, increase profit? If that's a yes, I'd rather you channel that money into your business. Let it grow, let it multiply. And after a while, you probably have enough to start investing in real estate. And if you are a salary earner who have that kind of amount saved up, and you're a business person whose business does not need that money to improve your efficiency in any way, you just have the money hide with you. Instead of going to buy a 300k plot of land in one bush somewhere, my advice would be for you to invest that money in low risk and high liquidity investment like money markets. And a good example of that would be Stanbic IBTC money markets. You can easily earn within like 23 to 28% ROI annually. Now let's be honest with ourselves. The monthly returns might look too insignificant, too small because of the capital size, and that's understandable. But what you have to understand is that the money is not just sitting idle in the bank, it's working for you. And it gives you flexibility. Times where where there's emergency or you have unexpected expenses beyond your regular monthly income, you can always withdraw the returns or even part of the capital to take care of those expenses. Now compare this to you taking all your 300,000 naira savings into a 300,000 naira plot of land, right? If emergency should strike overnight, you can't just sell that property in a day. You end up becoming asset rich and cash poor, and you eventually resort to borrowing to survive, which is not advisable. If you remember the 3rd rule I stated earlier, avoid debt, right? Avoid debt. Although debt isn't always a very bad thing, it's only good if you're taking debt for strategic business purposes. Emphasis on strategic business purposes. I'm not saying you should wait till you have hundreds of millions saved before you start investing in real estate. What I'm simply saying is that you plan your finances smartly. You don't want to rush into property acquisition with no clear financial structure, with no clear financial plan. You don't want to get stalked, blame yourself, and worse, start calling real estate a bad investment when it was really an issue with your strategy. To shed more light on this, I would like to give you a practical example of a conversation I had with an acquaintance of mine who wanted to buy a property earlier this year. Now, this person had about 65 million naira saved up. That's his entire savings, and he wanted to buy a house. And this is 5 million is not just idle funds. This is money he also used to support his business on a monthly basis. He's into some form of supplies, and he gets to do those supplies like twice in a month. So after inspecting the property, he liked it and we were about to go ahead with the deal. So I insisted we have a sit down talk about his finances because I saw some red flags, when he was talking about the money. So I asked him and I realized that's his entire savings, and that's also what he used to support his business. So I told him, if you buy this property now, it's going to take about 90% of your entire savings. What if you get a supply contract in the next couple of weeks? How are you going to sort the contract out? But his plan was to reach out to family and friends to support his business. He was rest assured that friends and family would come through for him. But I told him that's a very bad financial strategy. That's a very bad financial plan. You can't mess up 90% of your working capital because you want to buy a house. So I made sure I stopped him from buying that house. So we hold off from buying that property. So we came up with a strategic plan. I told him to continue staying in his rented apartment for now. The rent was something he can easily afford. So the next step was to open a Stanbic IBTC money market fund. So the plan was for him to invest majority of the funds into that investment. So now he gets to earn monthly returns, and he can always take from that money to support his supply contract anytime he gets contract. And also the account continues to grow, and profit from his supplies can also be reinvested back into the fund. Now the fund is about 70 something, almost 80 million naira now. Now here is the smart twist. We opened a separate account strictly for long-term investing. So every month, the monthly returns he gets from the first fund, 50% of the monthly returns goes into the second fund, and 50% of the profit he makes from every supply also goes into the second fund. Now this structure achieves three things. His emergency fund remains untouched and growing. His monthly expenses are taken care of by monthly returns from the first fund. And most importantly, he's now building a separate fund to cater for his long-term real estate acquisitions. Today, the second fund now has about 6 million naira in it. And the moment he hits our set target, then we'll start channeling the money into smart real estate investment. Now that is what I call sustainable and strategic wealth building. So if you're the type who is interested in investing in real estate, before you fall in love with that property you saw online, before you rush into that emotional decision you're about to make, please plan your finances very well. Think it through. Every investment, especially in real estate, needs to be backed by strategy, not desperation. I hope you got some value. I'm the Kabiyesi, and this is my kingdom.